After microwave and Samsung the media dear or blender Nasco dear or free rice cooker or the better or bra to turn your baby any idea many more no crown out tell to say name home. Was some of dear to American. Now equa dear open many more no yes in your home rough DH who's radio. That no care bro one on your banner is all cast on my moody. One One make a to number of a friend a yaka farm bronya. I tell you promo no 050 105 050 now I call Joe dear. Yanko don't call original hand sanitizer or immediately already now couple. Hey, 99.9%. Eka he naka 100% number in up a day. What can nada? Woman to be 99 point something be. Yet the original papa be yeah, the good 7 hour crowd said I so here. Now, yeah, you hear me on the side. Come out to say, woman, spirit them Tibodia. But one by the name Corona, but almost so stop and say, I know another Monte president said the way I don't call for Corona to Mr. President around who ye and rat. I did not call Nipper 64, and they said, related to Ponyo, or been to be Nipper 64, and they said, related to Ponyo, been to be. And Tibodia, now I yell in time. Na ekwajowa donko nam de family semi chronoma abo hia plot no matter 32 na abehu yen very affordable ene da no me ka kire mo se ba ko bia me koto se tie ni mi bi sa abo mbo chem se fam sika me koto donko ka sie 10 cedi kure nu ketwa se ketwa bi ene ye de ade abe pesco ye be pa nkwa enti ba wade ana frɛ hotline no na kwajo de 0231 303 260 0231 303 260 kwala du ko school na udi bia show mo bag mi se de be o mo ho na se o mo de bi na mo sa ho na tumi adi abo na man kwada na nkofa yare bia amekam yankwa Milo ene pa Milo pa ewurado pa breakfast ya Milo de atidi obi ene mi se de de sudi ne bantie ene ya brebre unya Milo whether it's chilled or hot ni nyina fine Milo ewurade Milo come say udi besi ja so mansuo na hura bro so ya na ono na mo sere hitinsuo when you Milo no aso be kwa ya na ho be hitinsuo na de afra na kwa ni breakfast de eno ani Milo norisho Milo no so millet ni ade kokoo yi ade agum se be ye be boa man kwada na dwun na tumi akọ fast anapa bia te se Milo yi o de mama nkwala yi a ene Philip an pa ma bon Milo no de ko school o ho de mete enti na dwun no de da ho kama nti bo de a Kope Milo ne bia tira kwan kwada o mpanyimfo ni na ma o champion bibia o ye bia okọ ni yanko Greenfield Scientific Herbal Clinic for aso ye na yanko hwe sexual weakness and infertility anu adro why oh are you why dey ene mid morning dey no we ye adwuma ni dey enti yakọ Greenfield and sexual weakness and infertility ene yakọ pa anu adro be ma wo akọhoma nyefe wo so o mpasogro nyefe wo ne wo ho ahisi bibia wakọhoma ba na mpasogro ne nyakura dia bielebia ne yakonkọ ho saa umu botom nye efom ho so dry dark pedro what dem wow stroke ni diabetes ni pass ni bones na ebubu ya hyehyesi so gonorrhea na edokoro hypertension renal problems in nada Greenfield Scientific Herbal Clinic se bra ma so ye ewa adogon no nungwa ehor mete be ho papa ni ambulance se su oni yade adokoro o muntumi hwa o mde to ambulance ma sen no mde o covid-19 ni ade nai ambulance ho akohia papa pa ne anape nkoma yedi ye kra ambulance fo ya anko ye ntia ye de papa ba ma de ahwe ma kira kwan na efra o mo no mo a ate unipa bi na yade a ofra mo pe o ma ambulance na ba na etumi aba be fa no kwa ya sabia na ma de 0243983906 nkra ha sam na making 0243983906 nesa make ambulance nti na o kokofia na obefre o mo se kokofia obi yade nti embe fa o mesre wa ahwa waka ho kra ha de na making yanko Dominion Herbal Powder bi mo na yanko ja yare hwe ene yedro no kra de stores pharmacy shops chemical shops duro as Dominion Herbal Powder boost immune system no na fe weja yare kwan 0543 1581 baba betra se mama mebe 0543 1581 95 na say wadru dominion ya bedo de na e kan de aka na say bia de na
sasa
radio ni na bedo de na kan de na chese na wie na no aka me nsape na say ya wie Supreme Court na
Springfield okay me uncle Springfield technology womo software developing web developers and afi programmers ahodo no so omo ye ba na commodity team kope
commodity
elewe ya bro ye
ha commodity ba woni mi na chese
commodity pa
eduan ne beba sisia
afi omo ye courses ahodo introduction to computer office application software development database administration system administration web development networking administration hardware mobile app development and afi omo ye programming video editing na omo ye bi ewo ho afi so no se ba voice coaching na omo gina mo keyboard lessons ahodo guitar lessons enti omo sin kwada no every 7 years ko bia nso apeso osua sa nyema ni nyina nso no omo ho ema won beboa wo enti wo dia ne se obefrɛ wo mo I was 0244 670 82
Yampacho onumaba
ofre wo mo omba juice
ube somo hama na ya
So, Mr. Kasia, if you calculate the total valid votes cast obtained by the second respondent as a percentage of the overall total valid votes of 13,119,460. What percentage do you get?
The percentage I obtained, assuming these figures are all correct, is 51. Assuming the tallies are correct,
Yes.
then the percentage comes up to 51.302%.
So by the way, have you provided any evidence in your witness statement, or is there any pleading in your witness statement which is saying that this figure is got wrong? The figure of 6,730,587. Continue your deed.
My Lord, we tendered in regional policing for Eastern region to demonstrate the fact that those tallies there, the tallies that were arrived at were not exactly reflecting the votes.
We'll come to that tally in due course. But I'm telling you that even that tally, assuming it is right, will not make a difference as to whether or not second respondent crossed the 50% threshold. But we'll come to that. So now, from your exhibit B, the petitioner obtained 6,213,182. Not so.
Yes, my Lord.
Now, can you tell the court what that figure is as a percentage of the 13,119,460?
If the tally for the petitioner is correct as stated here, the percentage will come to 47.359.
No, but even if it is not correct, what is it? Because this, we are talking about
47.359%.
so whether correct or not, that is the percentage, not it.
That is the percentage reflected in these figures.
Yes. Now, so I'm putting it to you that here again, certain your petitioner had not crossed the 50% threshold, more than 50% threshold.
According to this data, yes.
And now, you notice that these figures on Exhibit B, your Exhibit B, do not contain the Petition South figure. Not so.
Yes, my lord.
So what the chairperson of the first respondent said on 9 December was that if you were to add the whole registered voter population of Petition South to your petitioner's total valid vote, it will still not make a difference as to who has crossed the threshold. Is that not so?
Yes, my lord.
Is that not correct?
She said so.
But is that calculation not correct? Is that
Unless I recalculate.
okay? So I'll take you through it. So you are invited to add the total voter population, registered voter population of Petition South, which is 218,000. 128,018 to the 13,119,460. Please, I know what I'm doing. I've prepared for this thing. You add the total voter population, registered voter population of Petition South, to the total valid votes here, which is 13,119,460.
When you add the total registered population of Petition South to the 13,109,460,
yes,
I got the figure 13,247,478. And
what figure did you get?
13,247,478.
Now,
Okay, then let's do it again.
Now, can you tell the court what is the percentage of the second respondent's 6,730,587 of that figure? You got it wrong.
My lord, it comes up to 50.806.
Now, if you add the whole of Petition South votes to the petitioner's valid votes as of that time, tell the court how much you can see.
Petitioner's valid votes as per these figures.
Yes. That is 6,213,182 plus 128,018.
Please, can you repeat the Techiman? Techiman
128,000.
128.
18. 018.
128018.
Yes.
There's some fundamental.
Thank you.
Yeah, Lord, we get 47.867.
This is Angel 102.9.
Now, you want to just a moment, let me do another calculation.
This is Angel.
It's 47.874%.
Now I'm getting a different figure, 47.867. I don't know what that is.
But you can clearly see that
Please, my Lord, give me just one moment to give me a minute to cross-check something.
This is Angel 102.9. Broadcasting live from the capital city, Accra. Angel 102.9. This is Ghana's own Angel 102.9.
Johnson said don't get here working mathematics in the biom. Waba, maintain the answer.
so it's 47.867%. Not so.
Yes.
So you can see that if you add the whole of Petition South registered voter population to the petitioner's total valid votes and calculated the percentage, you get 47.867 for the petitioner.
This is Angel.
If the figures are correct, yes. But the problem is with the changing figures.
We'll come to
At
that.
every
Don't worry.
point, new figures emerge. So you don't know which one you are using.
Don't create problems for your heart. We'll get there. You see? So now, if you go to the 9th December declaration,
Yeah.
and you add the whole voter population of Petition South to the total number of valid votes cast, what total will you have?
If you add the whole of Petition
South,
voter population
yes.
to the declared total number of
Yes.
valid vote cast as per the Electoral Commission declaration,
Yes. Yes.
you get 49.
I've already asked that question. Okay.
You get 49%.
Now, let's proceed to your summary sheet, the exhibit E. Before then. Now, subsequent to all these things, the results of Petition South were declared. Is that not so? And
Yes, my Lord.
And the total number of valid votes cast in Petition South was known.
Yes, my lord.
And that number is 99,436. Not so. You can check it from your exhibit, which you have attached. Your exhibit. Attached to your exhibit C. That's the very first exhibit. Sorry. It's attached to your exhibit C, the first presidential election results summary sheet of the constituency of Petition South. Okay. So look at your exhibit C, and the first document after that, you see it. So you see that it's the same. I'm talking about the total number of valid votes cast.
And it is 97,227?
No, my lord, if you do the actual calculation, you get 99,000 votes. No, yes. My lord, I'm saying that the 99,436 is the actual sum of the valid votes here.
So you are saying that the figures on the exhibit are wrong?
The totals of the figures are wrong, but the specific figures that each candidate obtained is correct. If you do the total, you find out that the total valid votes is...
Then you have to go through that exercise before you are doing what you are doing.
Very well. Now, can you... You can't use the incident to confront him. So, can you do the addition? 46,379.
Document are we referring to?
SBC.
Yes. I don't see them. The prince is for settlement. Okay.
All right, Honorable Johnson, as you look at here, would have to do the calculation for Tejima and South.
Yeah, can we go?
So, for the calculator, or can we calculator so what?
Well, the next one is 52,034.
The first one.
For the petitioner.
Yeah.
And then for Christian.
Sorry, the first one.
Yes. For the second respondent, he obtained 46,379.
Wanyanti said na Oye Juma Bank into Unimso accountant.
The petitioner obtained, just add, so, petitioner obtained 52,034. Yeah. Christian Andrews obtained 720. Yeah. Evil District 46. Ekua Donko 24. Henry Herbert Lati 16. Hassan Ayaga 54. Kofi Percival Apanu 24. David Apasera 45. Bride Jogonuku Bridget Jogonuku 19. Nana Punedu Ajiman Rollins 29. And Alfred Kwame Asiedu Walker 46.
My Lord, the total is 99,436.
Correct. So now, if you add the 46,379,
My Lord, on the face of the proof sheet, the valid votes cast was 97,227.
so does that make the actual valid vote you just got wrong?
No,
Does that make it wrong?
I thought that we were dealing with figures
We are dealing
that
with,
have been signed to by agents. If we are correcting the figures, then that is the invitation we give for all of us to sit down and correct the figures. But if
you see, we are currently in court, so it is for the court looking at the figures to make a determination of the correct figure. And I'm saying that when you do the addition of the actual figures obtained, you get 99,436. Do you dispute that?
I don't dispute that.
Fine, so let's go on.
I don't
Now-
dispute that.
Now,
But the total indicated is different.
Can you ensure you don't speak at the same time as counsel?
Yes, my lady.
When he's giving an explanation, he should be allowed to complete the explanation.
when the explanation has nothing to do with the matter. Very well. Now, so, if you add the total valid votes from Petition South to
Please mention the figure that you are referring to.
okay,
Because as the witness is pointing out to you, on the same form, there is another figure as a different figure as the total valid votes cast.
my Lord,
So refer to the figure that you are.
yes.
Yeah.
I'm saying that if you add the total valid votes of 99,436, which you have confirmed, to will you allow me to ask my question? If you add this figure to the actual total valid votes, and announced on 9 December, that is 30,121,111. What total do you get?
My Lord, I never heard 13,119 has been announced as you claim.
You see, Mr. Nketia, we have gone through the calculation of the actual figures with you, and we arrived at 30,121,111.
Yes, my Lord, my problem is
please,
with the announced.
Please, if you add the 99,436 to that figure, what is the total valid vote?
My Lord, if I may hear the figure so I can
Go ahead.
for you.
99,436. 99,436.
436, yes. Plus
13,121,111.
13,121,111.
How do you get?
You have 13,220,547.
What? 13 what?
13,220,547. It is also a new figure.
Yes, my Lord.
Prophet, on that exhibit, the total valid ballots is 97,227. But the total votes cast is 99,437. So which one are you? 436.
My Lord.
And the rejected ballots, 2,209.
Yes, my Lord. This is obviously a clerical error, because if one was to add the actual figures, you will get as the total valid votes cast in Techimansa, the figure 99,436. And the witness has just confirmed that by the calculation, that the actual valid votes cast.
That's based on an assumption. Clearly, it is based on an assumption.
My Lord, which assumption?
The assumption as to which of the figures are correct.
Now, my Lord, these are the figures that we have. There are no other figures that they have demonstrated. These are the official figures.
Yeah.
Yes. But, my Lord, I'm responding to your Lordship's question that these are the official figures. And when you add the votes obtained by each candidate in Techimansa, my Lord, you get a figure of 99,436. So what is down below is clerical errors in doing simple arithmetic.
So if you can remind us, what's the question? If you can remind the witness.
If you add the 99,436 to the 13,121,111, that is the total. This is
Broadcasting live from the capital city, Accra, Angel 102.9.
Let him do it, please.
When I had the two figures you quoted, I had 13,218,896.
Yes, that is correct. Now, if you add the 46,379 that the first respondent obtained, the second respondent obtained in Petition South, to the figure announced, declared for the second respondent at the press conference of 9th December, which is 6,730,413. 6,730,413.
6,740,000.
730, not 40. 730,000.
6,730,000.
30,000. 413.
413.
And you add 46,379. What do you get?
46,379. Well, 6,776,792.
So, can you tell the court what that is as the percentage of the 13,218,896 that you mentioned a moment ago?
Okay,
13,218,896.
Yes. 51.
51.2676. 51.266. Okay. So you can see that if you were to add the actual votes that the second respondent obtained in Petition South to his total votes as of 9th December, second respondent will still have crossed the 50+ percent threshold.
My Lord, I wouldn't know, because the figures that we are contesting here, you have the same agents signing onto tallies allocated to presidential candidates and then signing onto totals. My Lord, with respect, you are calling it clerical error. I don't know whether the error was in the totals or the error was in the tallies allocated to the various candidates.
But you see, we do a tally based on the primary figures. Is that not so? You don't do a total first and then from the air, and then you come and fit in the specific figures. Your totals
if
your totals are based on the primary figures. Is that correct?
That's correct. But
So,
if the
hold
primary
on.
figures are wrong, the
Hold on.
totals will be wrong.
Hold on. So the totals here are the ones we are dealing with, and they come up to 99,436, as you have
The totals,
calculated.
yeah.
Yes.
And all the totals on the various tallies, when you put together, is 99,436.
Yes.
But I cannot test to the validity of the various figures.
That's your problem.
And then the totals, because both the totals and the tallies have been signed onto by the first respondents representative and the representatives of political parties.
But I'm saying that from these totals, second respondent crossed the 50 plus threshold.
Well, from the totals we see here. Yes.
And the petitioner was below that threshold. The petitioner obtained 47.396%.
From the figures we see.
Yes, yes, that's true. Now, yes, he said, yes, of the figures we see here. That's what he said. Now, again, if you go to 10th December, that is, when you look at your exhibits B, now, you notice that if you add the 99,436 to the total of 13,119,460, what do you get? What do you obtain?
The figures again.
You add the 99,436
436
to the total valid votes cast as announced or in the press release of 30,119,460. What figure do you get?
You have 13,218,896.
Very good. Now, can you tell the court now, and if you add the total number of valid votes obtained by the second respondent, that is 46,379 in Petition staff, to the total valid votes obtained on the press release, that is 6,730,587. What figure do you get? 6,700,000.
You are talking about total valid votes.
Yes.
We haven't agreed on which are the total valid votes, so I would prefer you mention the numbers so that I add them for you.
Okay. If you add the 99,000. 99,000. If you add 99,436 to the total number of valid votes of 13,119,460, as in the press release. What do you get? Press release of 10th December.
You have 13,218,896.
So now, if you add the total number of valid votes obtained by first respondent or second respondent of 6,730,587 to the total number of valid votes he obtained in Petition South, which is 46,379. What do you get?
My Lord, as I said, let me mention the figures and let me add for you, because what is the total valid votes is still in contention. So just let me have the figures.
So the figure is on Exhibit B. The second respondent obtained 6,730,587. That's your Exhibit B.
87. Plus
46,379.
46,379. My Lord, it gives a total of 6,776,966.
Good. Now, what is this figure you just mentioned as a percentage of the...
Are you not taking it back?
No. Okay, my lords, what I did originally was to add the total votes for Petition South, all of it, to the petitioner. What I'm doing now is the actuals. That's what I'm doing now. Now, so what is the percentage of the 13 million of the 6,776,000?
13 million.
96, yes.
I have the 6 million figure, but I want to hear the 13 million.
The 13,218,896. %. And when you add the 52,034 to the total valid votes of the petitioner, as in your Exhibit B, which is 6,213,182.
6,213,182. 182. Plus
52,034. 52,034.
34.
Yes. What is that figure?
6,264,216.
And what is the percentage of that figure. What is that figure as a percentage of 30,218,896?
30,218. I beg your pardon. 218.
896.
896. 47.388.
Now it's 47.396.
Let's
Do
go,
it again.
let's go by your fingers again.
So, oh. Very well.
Very well, my lord. Yeah.
So, my question. Now,
You say we should do it again.
yes.
Yeah.
So, add 52,000. And I said it was not. I said it was. No.
Accepted, then asked for a
Percentage, yes. Okay. So, what is the percentage of the figure you obtain of 13,218,896? The figure you obtain as a percentage of 13,218,896. Yes. The figure you mentioned. Well, that's why I wanted to do the addition again.
I'm really worried about her not getting the records. So, I said you could say, the last thing you said, you didn't speak into your microphone.
So, second petition, the petitioner obtained 6,213,182 in the press release of December 10. So, when you add to that figure 52,034, that is the figure.
52,034 plus 6 2 and 3 1 8 2. This 2 is 5 2 1 6 1. $47.396.
Correct. So, here again, when you add the actual votes obtained by the two candidates to their total votes as published in the press release, second respondent crosses the 50 plus threshold.
But we haven't agreed on the actual votes.
But I'm saying that in terms on the face of the documents, second respondent crosses that threshold.
On the face of this press release? Yes.
And on the face of the document, The petitioner obtains a meager 47.396. Not so.
My Lord, the figure on the face of this document, 47.396, I can't tell whether it is meager or not.
I'm happy that your concern is only that it is not meager. Now let's now look at the summary sheet of the 275 polling stations that you've attached as Exhibit E to your witness statement. Constituency, the 275 constituencies. Yeah. What's that? Now, you will notice that at the tail end of that exhibit, you find the summation of the total figures of votes that each candidate obtained. And you also indicate what from your calculation each candidate obtained. On the side, that there's a difference of 568.
Yeah. Yes, my Lord.
That's all. Now, so let's look at the total valid votes obtained by the second respondent on that spreadsheet or summary sheet. Yeah. It is 6,776,065.
My Lord, it's 66. I see 66 here.
66, sorry. Is that correct?
Yes.
And the total number of valid votes obtained by the petitioner is 6,265,276.
Yes.
Correct. And
6,265,276. Yes.
Yes. And from the EC's calculation, based on the EC's total valid votes of 30,218,600. No, my lords, that is the NDC. The last column is the NDC's votes. The EC's calculation of total valid votes is the column 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 from the right. That is the EC's calculation. Yes, total valid votes, yes. And the number, the figure there, my lords, is 13,000,000 218,633. Yes. Now, you find that from the EC's calculation, 6,776,000 and 66 yields a percentage of 51.261. Right?
Are we declared? Oh,
Excuse me.
I don't understand the question.
I'm saying that if you look, it's your exhibit.
Yeah.
And I'm saying that from that exhibit, the total valid votes cast overall, according to the EC, is 30,218,633. That's the document. That's what you have.
13,218,633.
Yes.
Yes, and this is different from what was announced and what was corrected and what was subsequently corrected.
Please hold on. So I'm saying that 6,776,000 and 66, which is the total valid votes obtained by the second respondent, as a percentage of the overall total valid votes of 218,613, is 51.261%.
That's correct.
Yes. Now, you claim you did your own calculations of those figures. And by your own calculations, you claim that the second respondent obtained a percentage of 51.263 of the total valid votes cast. That's your calculation. You see it at the last column, at the bottom, the very last column.
Yes.
So
51.264.
263.
263,6759.
Okay. So I'm putting it to you that whether it is the EC's calculation or your calculation, definitely second respondent crossed the threshold.
If we are going by the data supplied by EC.
Yes.
But the data is internally inconsistent.
Now, let's now come to your exhibit. Your exhibit C. You cancel. No.
Was
Struck out.
struck out. Yes.
Yes. Now let's come to your exhibit. Your exhibit D. Now, your exhibit D is your famous letter,
Yes.
of complaint to the chairperson of first respondent. where you claim that the results which were collated and signed by all the parties were not the ones transmitted from the region to the Electoral Commission's offices in Accra. And your second allegation was that Ashanti... No, my lord, I'm talking about the letter, Exhibit D.
What was the letter addressed to you?
It was
Addressed to the second respondent.
Yes.
This letter.
It was addressed to the first respondent.
You go on.
Now, you said two complaints, complaint A and complaint B. Complaint A is that in the Eastern region, the results in the presidential elections which were collated and signed by all the parties were not the ones that were transmitted from the region to the EC's offices in Accra. And the second point, B, relates to Ashanti region. Say Ashanti region provides fundamental problems that require investigation. We have found out that almost across board, the aggregates and the summary sheet do not reflect the individual results on the pin sheets. Further, the results collated and declared for the region do not reflect the aggregate results on the pin sheets in our custody. Now, it is a fact that you wrote this letter on 9 December. And I believe 2020. Is that not so?
Yes, 9th December 2020.
And I understand from your position that you wrote this letter before the declaration was made.
Yes, my lord.
Now, your complaints about Eastern region have already been disposed of by the Council for First Respondents, so I will not go there.
My lord,
Yes. Yes.
my complaint about Eastern region still stands.
Well, okay, that's fine. Now, if you go to your complaints about Ashanti region, which you had made before you filed your petition, you notice that in your petition, you say absolutely nothing about this alleged complaint. Absolutely nothing in the petitioner's petition. Do you agree? They are doing the same thing. It's here. It's here. Huh? Do you agree?
My lord, we're referring to those complaints under the cooked figures, which
No,
have been
please,
struck out.
you don't listen to my question carefully. I'm saying these allegations you make about problems in Ashanti region, when you filed your petition after this letter, when the petitioner filed his petition, the petitioner said absolutely nothing about these alleged problems in Ashanti region. You admit that?
My lord, we referred to cooked figures, and it was.
No, I'm talking about...
We didn't mention this specifically, but we referred to cooked figures, and that was where.
And Mr. Nketia, in your own witness statement, you never mentioned any difficulties you had with Ashanti results?
My Lord, we attached some sample constituency figures. Some of them are from Ashanti, and we indicated that they were not correct. So, but they were put into the results that was declared. So we selected some sample constituencies, which include constituencies from Ashanti region, and that was to prove our case that there was a mismatch of figures in Ashanti region.
Now, so you will see that whatever complaints you made about Ashanti region were so minor and insignificant that they did not affect in any way, in any material way, the results as announced by the first respondent, whether in the declaration itself or in the press release, or when you added the actual votes obtained in Petition South, or when you took
Ashanti region to Petition South.
Sir,
We've warned you, we don't want double-barreled questions. The questions are overloaded.
so I'm saying that these complaints that you make, assuming them to be valid, they had absolutely no consequence for who crossed the 50% threshold in the declaration of 9 December.
My Lord, I disagree.
So we will come to your disagreement. I'm furthermore putting it to you that in the similar fashion, they had absolutely no material effect on the winner as published in the press release of 10 December.
My Lord, I disagree.
Nor did it have any effect if you took the actual votes obtained in Petition South.
My Lord, I disagree.
It did not have any effect if you added all the total voter population to the second respondent, to the petitioner. Second respondent will still have crossed the... Yes, you added it to the votes of the petitioner. Petitioner South. If you added that to the votes obtained by the petitioner, it still would not have made any difference as to who crossed the 50+ percent threshold.
My Lord, I disagree, because if you are adding one correct figure to a wrong figure, you cannot end up getting a right answer.
Now let us look at your exhibit F. Your exhibit F. In your exhibit F, you claim that there has been padding in the total sum of 4,693. Not so.
My Lord, that is not our claim. Our claim is that there have been voter pardon, and we have samples to show that there was voter pardon, and that was what we demonstrated.
So
We have in no ways indicated.
Please respond to the question. You can add whereas explanation.
We haven't claimed that 4,700. The figure stated there is the total number of votes that were pardoned.
So I'm saying that in respect of your allegations of pardon, the only document before this court is your Exhibit F. Is that correct?
That's correct, my Lord.
And I'm saying that if you go to Exhibit F, you will discover that the total figure that you allege were pardoned is 4,693. That's what I'm saying.
That is not correct, my Lord. We said that is a sample. No, the totals in the sample is what you have mentioned.
He is referring you to the exhibit which is before the court. Respond to it.
Well, the exhibit was attached to a witness statement, and the purpose of the witness statement was clearly stated. The purpose of the exhibit was clearly stated in the witness statement.
Now, you see, the figure that you have here, simple question, is 4,693.
Yes, my Lord.
And you will notice, so when you attach this figure, did you do it with the consent of the petitioner?
My Lord, I was to testify about matters that were in my personal knowledge.
But you were supposed, you said here that you had come to support the case of the petitioner. Is that not so?
That is so.
So my question is the case of the petitioner that 4,693 votes were pardoned? Is that what the petitioner said in his petition?
The petitioner said there was a sample.
No. Please answer my question.
Please let him answer the question. You see, let him answer the question. If the answers appear not to satisfy the court will certainly raise issues. So you let him answer.
Respectfully, the question was, it is the case of the petitioner that so and so. And he started an answer. That, so you should be allowed to answer.
No. You see, your petitioner mentioned a specific figure in his petition. Is that not so? He said that the vote pardon. Yes.
My Lord, the figure mentioned by the petitioner as vote pardon is a sample of the vote pardon, that is to demonstrate that there was indeed widespread vote pardon.
What was that figure?
Well, if I can refresh my memory. Petitioner.
This is Angel 102.9.
Exhibit F. Exhibit F. Yeah. I see 5,662.
So when you publish in your, or you stated in your witness statement, a lesser figure, was it with the consent of the petitioner?
Yes, my lord, because each of the two figures are mere samples just to demonstrate a fact. That is not supposed to be any absolute figure. So some samples could be selected, and under time pressure, if you look at the petition and my witness statement, where we're talking about the samples of constituencies also, the petition mentioned 31 or so constituencies, but we ended up bringing 26, the samples of 26 constituencies because of the time pressure that we needed to submit our listen. But since they were all samples, it didn't matter to us very much.
No, Mr. Asif, you see, now, Mr. Sedu, now, if you were to, you claim that there was vote tallying in favor of the second respondent, and the figure that you have supplied is 4,600 plus 93. Now, you see that the petitioner himself attached documents claiming that the vote padding was in the figure of over 5,600, yes, in exhibit F, 5,600 and 5,662. That's what the petitioner himself has said. Do you agree? Now, I'm putting it to you that the reason why you have revised that figure from the 32 constituencies to now 26 is that you've realized now that those other constituencies, the figures were in your favor. the so-called vote padding was in your favor. So when you were filing your witness statement, you took them out.
I disagree, my lord.
Now, let us still stick to your exhibit. You see that your exhibit F has a pen drive copy. Not so.
I don't see it attached there. I don't see it on my file. Yes, my lord. I've seen it.
Now, you see that in that pen drive copy, which we will ask the court to play, you see that there are columns where you indicate padding for NDC. That is not shown on the hard paper, but on the pen drive, that gives a fuller picture. There are columns where you indicate that padding for NDC. There are other columns you indicate that padding for NDC and MPP, and other columns that you indicate padding for MPP. Is that correct?
My lord, that will go to the heart of the credibility of the figures as
I'm asking you whether that is correct.
Respondent. A question again.
I'm saying that the pen drive information is different from the hard copy you have attached. Is that correct?
The pen drive attached to the petition.
Yes. The Exhibit F, the pen drive of your witness statement, from which you create the hard copy, Exhibit F. You notice that what is in the pen drive is not fully what you have as Exhibit F. The hard copy. The hard copy and the pen drive.
The hard copy of Exhibit F.
Yes.
And the pen drive.
Yes.
My lord, I have not discovered any such discrepancy.
But Mr. Nketia, have you looked at the pen drive? Yes, you.
I looked at the hard copy.
No. Have you looked at the pen drive? Don't answer questions that you are not asked.
No, I haven't looked at the pen drive.
You haven't looked at your pen drive?
No.
Good. Now, my lords, if it is possible for us, yes, to play it, to show it.
This is Angel 102.9. This is Angel 102.9. This is Angel 102.9. This is Angel 102.9. This is Angel
It can't be expanded. Can it be expanded?
This is Angel 102.9. This is Angel 102.9.
Mr. Kusambo, the document has been opened.
All right. So you see that if you go to Asante Akim North, that is the 1, 2, 3, 4th entry on the Asante Akim North. You see by it in brackets, padded both. As Asante Akim North. That's the third, or is it fourth? Yes. You'll see that there's brackets, padded both. He doesn't know how to do it. You can't go there. You can't go there. Yes, my lord.
It was helpless. When we look at it, we couldn't find it.
My lord, I didn't hear you. I'm sorry.
There's nothing.
You see, Mr. Technician, I believe the folder is padded. Have you opened? Yes, you opened it. So I'm putting it to you. That in respect of Asante Akim North, your own document admits that it's padded on both sides. I raised this question.
My Lord, I can't see what he wants us to read. Where it is indicated that it's padded for both sides and all that.
Yes, my lord.
I'm a court to other things pen drive no I don't move pen drive no so I said pen drive intimidity in MPA that's why they are do a lawyer could have say you don't know how to treat it, you don't know how to do it. Whether they know how to do it.
My lords,
okay.
Is it possible that we can get a technical person to assist the technician? Because he needs to open the folder properly, and obviously he's not able to do so.
Supreme Court technician into me be a folder.
Because this is their exhibit, my lords. It's not ours, it's theirs. And we are saying that when we opened it, we noticed these observations.
But those observations are not being shown here. Those observations that you saw are not here, are not appearing here. Is that what you are saying?
Yes. Yes, because they have not opened the folder correctly. That's the point we are making.
Yeah. Is there any problem?
My lord, that folder is named 26 constituencies. The folder that he has to open.
Mr. Kwanzaa, the council is giving you direction. He said it's called something.
26 constituencies. My lord.
Mr. Kutampa, which file should he open within the folder called 26 constituencies? He says there's a folder named 26 constituencies. Within it are several files. Which file do you want him to open?
Open the 26 constituencies.
The folder?
Yes.
And then all the files in there will just reflect as files.
We believe so.
Mr. Kwanzaa, that's what he wants.
Pen drive is to folders, folder my friend of 26 constituencies. And no, and Mr. Kwanzaa, unknown I was Supreme Court or technician now, or no. OBB, I have a folder now, your friend of 26 constituencies. No, at the Code Potiankasa, a woman no was said, don't catch your mother count, Monkrata, or buy court 20, Ama lawyer Kutampa, so any abre, but Evans were Evans.
Yes,
okay.
In this particular folder with the subtitle padded, if you open it, there are about 26 constituencies with names in there. For example, the first one at the top, Ablekuma West, they've written padded beside it. Ifijai Kwabre South, padded. Asante Akim North, padded both. Antiwani Mabieja North, padded. Ayawasu East, padded. Ayawasu North, both NDC and MPP, padded. Cape Coast North, padded. Kejisu, padded. Goma West, padded. Bushegu, padded. Keta, padded. Ketu North, padded. Koliplote, padded. Niom, padded.
Nadoli, Paleo, padded. Nandom, padded. Northern, both NDC and MPP, padded. Okaike North, padded. Okaike South, padded. Sabelugu, padded. Sabelugu again. Sangerigu, padded. Sunyani East, padded. Tain, padded. Tamale North, padded. Time.
Now you are expanding it.
Then Tema East, both NDC and MPP padded. And finally, Upper Manya Probo, padded for NDC.
This is Angel 102.9.
Mr. Kusambo, the day is fast spent. Can you ask your questions now that it's open?
Yeah. You see, Mr. Ketia,
Yes, my Lord.
on the pen drive that you've attached as Exhibit F, there are certain constituencies that you simply say padded, and there you mean padded in favor of MPP. But there are some constituencies where you say both padded, you mean padded for both NDC and MPP. Is that not so?
My Lord, as I indicated, this is my first time of seeing this.
That is your evidence.
It's exhibits.
See,
There is a hard copy and there is this electronic copy. And I was, frank to tell the court that I haven't seen it.
But
And
if
you are showing it, and I don't see any padded NDC MPP on the screen.
are you saying that there's no such description?
I'm not seeing it. Council. Yes.
But it is your exhibit. Excuse me. So I'm putting it to you that in your exhibit you have these markings. Padded, both padded for NDC and MPP. I'm putting it to you.
Well, you have seen it, and so I am unable to admit or deny, because I honestly told you that the electronic copy, haven't seen it, and that is the reason why it was displayed. And I don't see, from where I sit, I don't see padded for NDC or padded for MPP on the screen.
Now, you see, if you take, I'm putting it to you that these so-called padding and non-padding or both padding occurred at different constituencies. You agree?
Well, if you say so, my Lord.
Now, I'm putting it to you that it could not have been a grand plan of the EC to pad for both NDC and MPP.
I disagree, my Lord.
You think they will pad for both?
Look, my Lord, if I may elaborate further.
No, I'm asking, you are saying they'll be padding for both?
My Lord, if 10,000 votes are added to one tally, or the tally of one person, and 200 are added to the tally of another candidate, it will create a false impression that the two candidates' tallies have been padded. But the impact is completely different. So if we talk about padding in favor of a candidate, that is precisely what could happen. And so the fact that on the face of the numbers, it could happen that in one party stronghold, if there's a grand plan to back for his opponent, he could artificially add some votes to the tally in his stronghold and add more votes to the opponent, and it will create the desired impact that they intend to achieve. So padding cannot be established merely by comparison of those total figures at the end. If in Ashanti region, MPP leads by say 1 million votes, and you add 500,000 votes to NDC's tally, NDC's MPP will still be in the lead. But then you have reduced the impact of that lead by adding votes. So once you see that the figures are not reconciling, then we go back to the table and then look at what is wrong together.
You see, Mr. Petition, the figures that are played are only 4,693. According to your own...
Ask this question.
I'm going to follow up. That's why I'm making that up. Now, I'm putting it to you that if you were to if you were to deduct the 4,693 alleged target votes from the second respondent's votes as declared on 9th December, that is 6,730,430. If you were to deduct the 4,693 from that sum, you get 6,725,720. I'm putting it to you.
My Lord, that is so, but that arithmetic is meaningless.
Hold on. And if you use 6,000, you calculate 6,725,720 as a percentage of 13,121,111, you get a percentage of 51.259. I'm putting it to you. Excuse me.
My Lord, I want to take the question again.
I say, if you deduct your alleged padding from the total number of valid votes that the second respondent obtained by the declaration of 9th December, you get a sum of 6,725,720.
My Lord, arithmetically correct, but is meaningless because we are talking about samples.
Answer the question. You answer the question.
My Lord, I have answered that.
Yes.
That is correct, but it doesn't. Now it is meaningless.
Now, what is 6,725,720 as a percentage of 13,121,111, which was the number declared for second respondent on 9th December? What is the percentage?
My Lord, I'd like to hear the figures again and do the calculation and give you the answer.
So, the original figure is 6,730,413.
Please, slowly. 6,730,413. 413.
Subtract from that the 4,693. What do you get?
Minus 4,693. You get 6,725,720.
Yes. Now, what is that figure as a percentage of 13,121,111?
13,121,111. 51.259.
So you see, Mr. Nketia, that even if you were to deduct your alleged target vote from the vote of the second respondent, he still crosses the 50 plus threshold.
I disagree.
Well, that's your maths. Now, again,
because samples cannot be subtracted from another population figure.
Now, on 10th December, in the press release, the total valid votes obtained by the 12 candidates is 13,119,460. That's correct, isn't it?
And now let me go back to my attachments.
Yes. So, now, if you subtract 4,693 from the total votes obtained by second respondent, that is on 10th December, which is 6,730,587. 6,730,587. If you subtract that from 13,140,000, what do you get first? You get 6,725,894. That's the figure you get when you do the subtraction.
I thought you were mentioning the figures for me to do the calculation.
Yeah. So do the calculation.
Please, what are the figures?
6,730,587.
Yes.
You subtract from that 4,693. What do you get?
4,693. You get 6,725,894.
Yes. Now, that is 6,725,894 as a percentage of 13,119,460.
119.
13,119,460.
$51.267%.
Okay. Now, so there again, second respondent crosses the critical threshold.
I can't tell, my lord.
Now, if we've already done this, but this is simply to aid you, that if you add the total of Techiman South voter population to the valid votes of 13,119,468, that is, if you add 128,028.
And Lord, slowly, because you are asking me to add the way you are.
128,002.
Can we start, sir?
I thought you had left the human south long ago. And you are taking us back.
Yes, my lord, you see, there are different stages. I'm demonstrating that even when you withdraw, you take out this alleged thing. Yes.
Oh, but did you not cover that?
Oh, very well.
I thought,
so I'm putting it to you that when you withdraw or subtract the 4,693 from the total valid votes obtained by second respondent, whether as announced in the declaration of 9th December or in the press release of 10th December, or when you add the two, in all these occasions, the second respondent still obtains over 50% plus.
My lord, here again we are attempting to take mangoes from apples.
Now, the critical question here now is that however and whatever the number of total votes, valid votes you take, and the number of valid votes very well. I'm happy your lordships get it. Now,
you don't follow the proceedings. Then why are we here?
Now, you will see from the petitioner's petition that ground A, ground A of the petition suggests or states that the declaration on 9th December violated Article 63(3) of the Constitution and is therefore null and void. Is that not so?
Yes, my lord.
Now, we all know that Article 63(3) requires a person to have more than 50% of the total valid votes cast to be declared president. Is that not so?
Yes, my lord. I've been advised by my lawyers that that's true.
And I'm saying that from all the evidence before this honorable court, second respondent, in whatever situation, crossed that threshold. That's the evidence before this court.
And Lord, I disagree.
Have you produced any evidence to the contrary?
My Lord, I indicated that we are here with the figures as declared by the first respondent. And we are questioning the internal consistencies of the figures.
You have not answered my question. I'm saying, have you produced any contrary evidence of the total number of valid votes that the second respondent obtained, showing that he obtained votes below the 50%? Have you?
And not because those figures are not available.
Good.
Are not available from the declaration by the first respondent. And we are not here to bring figures here because we don't have a constitutional duty to declare results of elections.
Very well. So you can come to the court to challenge the validity of the results of the presidential election without any evidence of what the actual results were.
My Lord, if I know that 2 plus 2 is 4, and I'm presented with results that indicate that 2 plus 2 is 6,
Excuse me.
challenge.
Excuse me. Please answer the question. At times, you try to be a bit sarcastic. That is not done in the courtroom.
Yeah.
Yes. Mangoes, manus, whatever. You don't do this in undergo examination.
The parliament affairs will learn. And so the parliament affairs are trying to catch up with court procedures.
You are a teacher, a banker, a politician, of one of the largest political parties.
Block maker. And a distiller of Apetesi.
So I'm saying that you are telling this court that you can come before it claiming that the second respondent did not cross the 50% plus threshold without producing any evidence to show that. That's what you're saying. Because that's your plan A.
We have supplied evidence from the first respondent who is supposed to make those declarations, and we brought them here to challenge the validity of those declarations.
So that's how you arrive at the fact that second respondent did not cross the threshold.
Because the data obtained
No. Is that how you arrive at the position that the second respondent did not cross the threshold as required by the Constitution?
And Lord, the figures are what we base our submissions on. Because the first respondent who is supposed to declare has put figures there. We look at the figures, and the conclusion is that the second respondent did not cross the threshold.
Because you use the total vote cast. Now, again, your grant B is founded on an alleged violation of Article 2.3 and Article 296 of the Constitution. Now, I put it to you that you have not produced any substantial evidence that these alleged violations, even if true, affected the actual vote obtained by the candidates. Even assuming that there were violations of the petitioner's right to be heard fairly and so on, you have led no evidence to show that those violations had an effect on the actual votes that second respondent obtained and the actual vote that the petitioner obtained.
I disagree.
Now,
Just to be clear, to refer to a second relief. What I'm seeing in our second relief is not quite the same as what I. Very well.
and you see that your ground C and D are simply a rehash of your ground B. So, Mr. Nketia, I'm putting it to you that your petition, your petitioner's petition, shows no reasonable course of action. And I'm putting it to you further that you are not, the petitioner is not entitled to any of the reliefs that he seeks. And you have no case worthy of hearing before this court. My Lord, I'm done.
Yes, please, there will be a question from the bench.
I want to be very clear on some issues. General, I know that when you purchase a pen drive, it is empty. And the data on any pen drive is generated by someone. So the pen drive that you attach to the hard copy and exhibited as Exhibit F, who generated or placed the data on it? Because when you were asked, you said you don't know what was on it. Who generated the data on the pen drive?
My Lord, as I said, honestly, I hadn't seen the pen drive and its contents till date. And I was relying on the hard copies. But the evidence is gathered by our elections directorate and the legal directorate.
So they gave it to you and you exhibited it as part of your evidence?
No, I did not exhibit that document.
As part of the petition, he did not exhibit it. He made it quite clear. Exhibit F.
Statement.
So he swore on oath that it's for him, and he brought it to us.
He exhibited it. So I want to find out who generated it. And so it means your election generated it and gave it to you and you exhibited it without seeing it.
Hard copies of the document, because of the time pressure, I was discovering this thing today.
Okay,
so that's why I indicated that I haven't seen it.
Then I want to be very clear on these issues too. It's very, very important to me. Now, in all the figures that were mentioned as the valid vote cast and all those things, you were saying if the figures were correct, and that there were inconsistencies in the figures, I want to ask you, now, in your own calculation, what were the total valid votes cast in the presidential elections on 7 December 2020? In your own calculations.
My Lord, those calculations are reserved for a meeting for us to reconcile the figures, because the first respondent herself keeps changing the figures. And so it says, when you bring your...
Excuse me, just look at here. Help the court. You see, when you started giving evidence, you said you had all representatives across the 275 constituencies. You said you put agents as, to do the... Yes, and they were to, correct the figures. You said it. Then he's asking you that from that, what figure did you get? You.
My Lord, I haven't brought that figure to court.
Okay. Then, from your own calculations, what were the valid votes cast in favor of the petitioner? To your knowledge.
My Lord, when we discovered this discrepancy, it was difficult to even know which figures are.
You don't know. You just answer. You don't know.
I don't have them here.
Okay. Then the last one. What figures from your own calculations did the second respondent get as the total valid votes cast in his favor?
My Lord, I don't have those figures here.
Thank you.
Angel 102.9. This is Ghana's own Angel 102.9. 102.9. Broadcasting
Mr. Asiedun Petia, you have referred on a number of occasions to data being internally inconsistent. Can you explain what you mean by that? The data on the basis of which you have been cross-examined, you have kept saying the data was internally inconsistent.
My lords, there's no ambiguity in that statement. Nothing has been said here that suggests that there's no understanding of that statement. The statement is clear in its terms, so he cannot be asking him that question under re-examination.
My Lord, I believe the purpose of re-examination is to clarify matters that came up in the context of the cross-examination. So when the witness keeps saying that data is internally inconsistent, I believe that there is a need to explain.
My Lord, my understanding of data that is internally inconsistent is where figures are given and a total is given which is different from the sum of the figures. As we had on the declaration sheet for Eastern region, for instance. What, my Lord? He hasn't finished. No, my Lord. The answer is that data, if data is given and a total is also given, and when you add the totals, you add the data, raw data, it doesn't agree with the total as given, then the data is inconsistent. And I'm citing an example of the Eastern region collation sheet. My Lord, it was said in court here, we tested two different documents. One was done
you see,
on
this is just
6:40 p.m.
Excuse me. You want to elicit an answer to a very simple question for him to explain inconsistency in data. But going back to Eastern region and looking flipping through the exhibits. Yes. Are you looking for fresh evidence? He wanted just a simple answer for you to tell the court what is. Yes. That's all.
My meaning is that when there is data,
We've got it, thank you.
and there is a claim that the
We've got it,
data adds
thank
up
you.
to this, and when you actually add, it is different from what the total is claimed, then that data is internally inconsistent.
This is Angel 102.9. This is Ghana's own
Mr. Siedun is here. In connection with the cross-examination of counsel for the first respondent, he drew your attention to something from Ayen Swanu, and he related that to the calculations that he had asked you to make. Now, how does the Ayen Swanu,
my lord, I'll object to this.
well,
This is Angel 102.9.
counsel for first respondent referred to Ayen Swanu in connection with the documents that he cross-examined you on.
Yes,
And my
ma'am.
question simply is, what is the relevance of, can you explain the relevance of Ayen Swanu? My lord.
My lord, this is fresh evidence.
This is Angel 102.9.
I'm sorry. I want to make an understanding.
Yes.
Thank you, my lord. Oh, what? Okay.
You didn't tell us your other name. You did not tell us your other name. Your alias, which begins with the rank in the army. You didn't tell us your alias, which begins with the rank in the army.
My alias.
Yes, which begins with the rank in the army. Or you don't want us to take judicial notice of that?
My lord, I thought Justice Apollo prefaced his question with that.
Because you come from his hometown, that is
I'm known as General Mosquito. Alias.
This is Ghana's own Angel 102.9.
Very well, my lord, you request. Thank you very much, Your Lordship.
This is Angel 102.9.
1 hour.
The case, sorry, the petition is adjourned to tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. Yes. For the next witness.
All rise.
And you know, the Diacoso Yani Petri. Sir, Cotton Apple I could see a children on Kono and Petition and so on. And by the 7 year day, questions in your wire never. Me, Brown Moshas, and I'm sure, and a lawyer could tamper then oh ye. Send on him the oil. Na owie ye no ena ajaje for no ba akose ensem 4 pena o pese obusem na ohunum eyi na o ye clear kakra die di kind se pen drive na Honorable Johnson said Dunketia, eswe oath was so the bahodo. Or say, and then it died Dikanya, oh, who's a pen drive no court, no person busan say, data no information, not a pen drive no so no. Why? Ne di guso. And say, Ashna, I see a day board number. If Johnson said Dunketia present a pen drive to the court, and cannot relate himself to the data on the pen drive. Therefore, if the pen drive came from somebody else and that person is X, what is X? We'll have to find X tomorrow. We will have to find X tomorrow. Honorable Johnson said, "Don't catch you." Rebecca and said, "There be none. Na the torso on him and the penny da. Oh, who knows? Wa wedding say and yama would be the dance or court on ye can hono. I say, my lord, we need the first time. And I say, Abia, one more directorate of elections, no, and on Abia, on the can, who knows it, and almost done a man who's so was all the bar. She said, the bay and the judge and so the Yahi. Judge, and the next question, and say, Ampa, sir, more the pulling agent, echo baby, or say, Enti mo bobo ankrata mo de ba ye na no say no so okay se sa na tie dia and the mo bobo anu no aba na ye kan na dodo se na mo bobo anu no munya ya e kire se John Dramani Mahama mo kan se wan win election no hona na bomb no wo no it was a bullet question sa question we chama ebusada so de wow keka bo anu no nyina no wow pink sheet no munya asen e kire se wan win election no. And also we will find that answer. And you find why. And also yes, I said judge and Sabebusa another question also okay. Sasana Chedia. And the Moki Kambu Munina we no. And then the say second respondent there and another Danko Akufado no one when election no more than Moki Kambu no. And no be find it here. X or Hawaiiaba. And find XY. And to be finding XY. It's a no muna na fe. Edidi musa edia kopie bebia. Eduno. Enu muna chachu so peja ni mu akra. Sa o nsem bi ebusa first wo bankum nsaniani de wo nifa nsaniani wo kanse ni na wo hwie na enhwete wo hwete mu wo so no wo press no na emfafa na chese inconsistency abam. Na no na okofa Eastern region for nkrata be on judge say hey bra definition and na wa cancel hwehwe de aka ni na no fato nchen ena chachu yes obebusa question tosum you know no question the question me ntimi nkan kotwe because na menti ase ena na judge for na nkasa so say na question no na ono monte hu de na say the question is it and court we no be aso serem and easy lawyer no sorry no can say we the enya question say yebusa ho na ye hu answer matna say din omutena sidin sawe na umbusan se wawie no se wawie na judge for no ba ko ka se asedu nkatia wo din bi opese omode judicially no say so opese din ye official ema no so ni din ba ko bi say army rank bi dikan and also oh my lord judges na ba ko kra aboso dada no so de wa abo no so general mosquito no muna na otemwa for penimpa otuatemwa for ni na no aso ye chief justice of the Republic of Ghana elbebo mu se bebi agro na duru no won be pagya mu na fe ye kyena no nkono wono matimi aba and dem ye sure say Davis on pen ho asem begina aho okofi wo koto bi Frank Davis be an lawyer o and dem on ma ho utu say won wan ba ni na no onka ho we would quickly have to go back to the Supreme Court now. For the press conferences of the two on the lawyer for Nkabia and the petitioner's lawyers and the lawyers of the second respondent. So let's go back to the Supreme Court.
So if you let us know when you're ready, we have a few remarks. Hi colleagues, good afternoon. Okay. So if you let us know when you're ready, we have a few remarks to make.
And the Honorable Kojo Pankruma says Central for the year ready. No, I catch no muna and no more few remarks be some kakrebi kumabi one more
so let's know when you're ready. You are. All right, so good afternoon. I'm very sure you have followed the proceedings in the walls of the Supreme Court from morning till afternoon. We are of the view that it's been a good day in court and that today the big word is exposed. Exposed. You would notice that counsel on our side spent a lot of time exposing the inconsistencies and sometimes even outright falsehoods that have been put out by the petitioner and the witness who was in the witness box today. So when you juxtapose the earlier claims of we won now to what they are saying in the witness box about they don't know who won, when you juxtapose that to some of the tapes we played about claims of 51% on their side, now to claims that they did not even bring numbers to court. If you juxtapose that between their petition that talks about vote padding of a certain number and now a claim that it's only samples of that number, one of the first things that counsel on our side sought to do today was to expose the inconsistencies and sometimes outright falsehoods that have been peddled by the petitioner and the witness who was in the witness box today. Our counsel also spent a lot of time exposing the bad faith and prejudice with which the petitioner and his team have approached the work of the Electoral Commission and the chair of the Electoral Commission, Ab Initio. And that's why you saw them take time to set out right from her appointment, from registration, etc. And the belief on our side that this is just a culmination of the various attempts to undermine an otherwise very good job that has been done. Also exposed through very vigorous cross-examination is a claim that was being made that nobody actually won this election. And that's why you saw the Venerable Akoto Ampao over and over again now raise the numbers and ask the witness to do the computation. And if you fry it, you bake it, you turn it upside down, you cook it, it is still 51% plus for the second respondent and about 47% for the petitioner. And you saw him do the maths and admit himself in the witness box when he was under oath. What we also found interesting were the attempts to shield the witness by his counsel to an extent that even materials that they had tendered in, there was an attempt to ensure that he was not questioned on it, even at re-examination, attempt to adduce fresh evidence. But I think you saw how the court handled it. The very final exposure we saw today, an exposure on the lack of candor. You heard the three questions that the bench asked, that for all that you have said, when you finished your collation, what were your results? When you finished your collation, what were the results that the petitioner got? When you finished your collation, what were the results that the second respondent got? And it was, I believe it will be very surprising to the millions of NDC supporters across the country who were egged on by the same team that they had numbers to prove they had won. Now here in court, when the bench asks those questions, they say that they did not come to court with any of those numbers. They are not still able to put any numbers before the court, despite all that they had said. So for us, in summary, we're of the view that it's been a good day in court. You saw the lack of candor when on the soft copy on the pen drive, they had made notes that they observed what they call padding, both for the MPP and the NDC. Yet they had claimed that there was a deliberate attempt to steal this election for the MPP. And now in their witness statements, they sought to delete those ones out. And then when it was put to our very good friend, the general, he now said he was not responsible for the pen drive, etc. So that exposure of the lack of candor is also one of the things that our council sought to do. In conclusion for us today, our view is that if your case is bad, even the most skillful general will be exposed at cross-examination. And that's what we believe has happened today. If you have questions, we'll take them now and then we'll wrap up.
102.9.
All right, so
tender in exhibit through the petitioner's witness. They were opposed to it. Why did you want to do that when you had not asked the leave of the court first?
Well, so that will be a technical legal matter. The substance of it, however, is that what we wanted to show was still in the video that had been submitted. And so you saw our counsel find an opportunity to now cause the witness to do that calculation and express it as a percentage. And well, we thank you. We'll do a quick translation in Chi and we look forward to tomorrow's engagement in court.
Abusafo enasem ye tiawa ene eka ho a edanso a court transinanu fiada ena general mosquito ye de no etina adakam ene se wo hwe ensem a ekoso a na se yapa no hontuma ye papa sanse ensem a ene video a ye boye eno ka ho bi na nanu fiada court ji bre se ne ne abo wo video ene ye bo dem ho na wo hwe NDC mpanifo nyina ka se omakeka omuniema nyina bom pinchiti ekra omo omaye ni nyina no omo ye no eye former president Mahama watwam eye 50% plus 1 a wa wini tienche bia no ye be declare no as president and the court apa omo hontuma sanse ensem omo kan ni nyina no enye ho asem e na omo de ba court ebiem ade ba ko an ehu hia ye pa ne kwan ya fa so a yedi fin egu eye Jane Mensa ho keka ensem bebre wa abonten e de fa ne ho nanso enne ye ba court sansem ni nya ye sa busa o mu se e kamya kwakwa ye se eye Jane Mensa anamonisa no ne no kra uhwe eye opania se dun ketia so mo kan a o se they are not in court to challenge the validity of the elections. There's a omni court say ya abato na ye to no 38,622 polling stations no omo asem bi aka o da bi na mum omo se emra e share Jane Mensa so onye na djuma no omo nim se Jane Mensa aye se djuma na so for them they are in court only to challenge the constitutional duty imposed on Jane Mensa ene esa pa omo hontoma ebiem omo frebo for case bi wrong aggregation of vote any vote pardon o hwe omo petition mo eba court krata omo de beto animu eyo penie so linketia o se 4,693 eno kwa no hwa ento bia sa kopiem ho ye hu ne ye ka ye de tipim ha ye de tia kopim ha na ne asem ne tofa nyina no ene opani justice ya wapo ensemfu a ode pempem eye opani asu linketia obusa ne nsem nan ne di kan o se wa dance di a wo de aba court no usi unima de kro na hwan na de saa ensem no gu saa eye pen drive abefo ene pen drive yi eso wantimi anka o se ne nkofo bi na de gu so no kwa wanya ho anhwe ebra ma anom ne ade na na eye mfidie so omo so makeka omo manyina bom mo anso mu bu mu konta no omo de jo yes omo de openi jo ma amakogina so makeka omo bibia bom na okay mo awu bu mu konta no so no say na munya ya say eye total valid vote cast opani esedun ketia say nso a onim ne to so miensa o say okay ene mo musumu dia musa ye no ene say wo hwe eye petitioner eye omampani dada mahama eno so ema say na mo anso no independently mu ye ya eno so no a bobo wantimi anya wasamanka sanse omunyeye ne to so nan ai bubu o mapre ekura ne say okay and yes second respondent how would na be gina koti and you also munya nyina so bi say e man say no nya enti na wantimi ankross 50% plus 1 and also you buso opinion so din ketia say form a year nanado danko akufu the second respondent and must say in according to mum coalition onya ya and also abobo opinion so din ketia say and also unim enti enu mu anaja ye de areho asresem and sorry okọ away ada di pefe say ensem ekoso no munyina mo ni tua we de muhu ne ekoso etwagu obi anim nyame ya adom a court e de ahye ochena say ebehia ye beda mpanifo ase ene mo amahu the general secretary e wo ha say ye the most general na mu wo ha jombuadu ye chairman ono star witness ono na ejini mo na nado danko akufu ado chairman makomenu wo ha ene ebiem wo hwe ye director of elections onso kan ho greater Accra chairman kan ho ye beda ya lawyer for ase of Akotampa na wa chese onimde Frank Davis abom homoden lawyer Adodapa lawyer ya opon lawyer Sheila Minkapremo lawyer Victoria Bath lawyer Dr. Ernesto Usudapa lawyer Kwaku Esrifi ena lawyer Ochirejekum ena eye omunso omuhwe bibia somaye lawyer Keamu amunyina ka ho head of research nyame nhira omunyina nyame yadom ochina ye besan ahia ebiem lawyer na najo anso e wo ha sei nyame nhira mo.
All right, so Nana B so na what in kase ononso ade ncheche mu no ewotwi entino sese edru Sami Jenfi and so former Attorney General Mami Maria Tabru upon and then they'll be addressing press.
Yes, please.
All right.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much and good afternoon. Let me start by saying that we are extremely satisfied with the testimony given by our General Secretary today. In fact, nothing that he has said undermines our case. Indeed, everything he said goes to points to the fact that we are entitled to the declarations that we are seeking. But several interesting things stood out today. The ability of the General Secretary didn't happen as they thought it would. In the end, his credibility rather soared. If you watch the video, and I'm sure you all watched it, it is clear from the video that he never said at any point in time that the petitioner had won the elections. In fact, what he did were projections, and rightly so. He stated that based on the 141 parliamentary seats that we had won, the projection was that we would win the presidential slot as well. Those were projections he made. And so they were unable to show from the video that the general said what it is they were trying to prove. So of course they flopped in that regard. The other thing that came out clearly was that there were ever-changing figures from the general's testimony. Now, from their own cross-examination, they describe these ever-changing figures as manifestly erroneous. We had the 9th December figures of 13,434,574, 10th December 13,119,460. Then in their paragraph 24 of their answer, that's the first respondent's answer, she talks about 13,121,111. Yet again, today, there were corrections made. And we saw that from the cross-examination on Teshiman South. On the face of that, their own exhibit, it showed 97,000 227. But when they did the tally or the collation, it was 99,436. So when we make the point that based on their own declarations, that's the EC's own declarations, there are errors, we are right. And it has been proven by the cross-examination that they conducted that we do not know what the figures are. Based on her own declaration, nobody got more than 50%. And the declaration I'm talking about is the 9th of December declaration. Also important is the issue of padding. They cross-examined the general on the issue of padding. And you can sense from the cross-examination that they admit that there was padding. What they tried to portray was that on a pen drive, there was an indication that there was also padding in favor of the NDC. Now, if they admit that there was padding, then obviously we are dealing with a very flawed election. That is the point, and they admit it. It's a clear admission of a flawed election. And he also made the point that what we attached in terms of padding were only samples. Only samples. So you can't take a sample and deduct it from a whole or an absolute number and get any result, because that sample is simply what it is, a sample. In the end, there were also questions from the bench about our own figures. But I think we need to make it clear, and it's been made clear over and over again. We are here challenging the EC on its own figures. Its own figures. What are those figures? There's the 9th of December, there's the 10th of December so-called correction, and there's also the figure in their paragraph 24. And then today we realize that even in some of the constituencies, and they themselves brought out the example, Techiman South, there are errors. So if you ask us, what are our own figures? How are we going to get our own figures based on all these flawed sheets and different figures? And so we stand by what we are saying, that based on her own declaration, nobody got more than 50%. So today we are happy with the cross-examination of the general. We are happy with the results, and we think that our case was made clearly in the court today. So if there are any questions.
Yes. Sisters. Yes, the interest in the alternative figures, as the petitioner would have or should have brought to court, maybe it's not a matter of interest to only the bench. A lot of us journalists followed the election keenly, and we know that on all sides, the NPP, the NDC, the CPP, each political party had, call it a collation center or a tabulation center, whatever the name was. But each political party was able to, following the reports from their representatives at the polling stations, tabulate the figures, and at the end was able to tell whether or not they were leading, they were behind, whatever the case may have been. Is it the case that based on the tabulation that the NDC did of the election results, it is not possible for the petitioner to tell us some figures which probably directly contradict the figures that the EC chairperson announced on the 9th of December?
I mean, that's a good question, but having regard to the case we have even brought to the court, I don't even think it's necessary. They themselves have different contradicting figures. Why do you need another one from us? They are different contradicting figures. And that is the point we are making, that the EC themselves, what are the figures?
Yeah, any other? Akabile.
On the point about the alleged vote padding, I just wanted to find out, because we heard General saying sample. I mean, what is the full range of this vote padding that the petitioners team detected? And if indeed you detected that full range, should you rather not be making the case that those votes be annulled? And the other one relates to General's point about the first time he's seen the contents of a pen drive. If you could clarify that point for us.
Okay, I think let me start with the issue of the pen drive. The information on the pen drive was printed for the general. It was printed for him, so he saw the hard copy. He didn't actually see the pen drive, and from what I could see on the screen, they were actually reading from the names of the folders, which he would not have. He would have the printed document, because of interest to him was the information on in the documents and not the names of the folders. So that is how it is explained that way. It's not to say he didn't know what was in the folders, but what they read was based on the